Hi, I'm Suzanne Menno, and let's talk about floor trough seepage flanges and the big mystery behind them. In this video, we will discuss the 3 different types of flanges, as well as our Altro flooring frame, specifically designed for IMC floor troughs. We will discuss the basic features, differences, and uses. But first, why do you even need a seepage flange? Well, many times, especially in big cities, floor troughs would be on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or even higher floors. So what is happening underneath that floor that definitely needs to get protected? Well, there could be a banquet hall underneath, there could be other rooms underneath, or maybe it's a museum with artifacts. So it's very important that we protect the entire floor. Hence, the seepage flanges come into play. Seepage flanges, they go all around your floor trough. And what happens is the waterproof membrane is on the entire floor, and it adheres to the seepage flange so that any water that goes outside of a floor trough will seep through the tile, the grout, whatever the flooring might be. The waterproof membrane catches that water, and it is angled to your seepage flange, which is also angled to the trough. And then that extra water that is splashing all over goes through the 1/8 inch weep holes and comes through the trough and goes down the drain where the water belongs. Therefore, it does not affect what's underneath that floor. It completely protects it so that there's no raining on a wedding and no big holes that you need to repair ceilings and floors. It is a very vital tool for the floor troughs to protect floors underneath. Let's show you the different seepage flanges and Altro flooring frame. This one is our standard seepage flange. Our second one here is the seepage flange with clamping ring. Our third trough here is the flange below the floor. And lastly, we have our Altro flooring frame. Let's start with our simplest type seepage flange, and also our most popular. The seepage flange is fully welded all around the trough. And what happens is you take your waterproof membrane and you adhere it to the edges of the seepage flange. The seepage flange itself is 5 inches wide. And like I said, you adhere the waterproof membrane to the outside of the seepage flange. And what happens is when your water goes outside of the trough, your membrane catches it and the angles pull it in, and the water comes through the weep holes and goes down your drain so that we're not ruining floors underneath. Now, some people like a little extra security for their waterproof membrane. And that's where the seepage flange with clamping ring comes into play. Some people, they just don't want to adhere the waterproof membrane to a seepage flange. They actually want to clamp it down. So we make these extra pieces of metal. The screws that you see are fully welded underneath. And you lay down your waterproof membrane and you literally clamp it down. So this extra piece of metal clamps down on your waterproof membrane, and you can easily screw it down. Use a tool for a tighter fit, but this gives the extra security on the waterproof membrane. The membrane is not going to move anywhere, and I'm just putting 2 screws lightly screwed, and it does not move. It's stuck, it's trapped. And a lot of people, they like that extra security in knowing that the waterproof membrane will not go anywhere. And all the water will definitely be caught. And again, it goes through down the seepage flange, through the weep holes, and down your drain. And again, not ruining the floors that are surrounding the floor troughs. So we just talked about the two different types of seepage flanges. Next up is a flange below the floor. So what exactly is that? Well, all troughs, they get trough clips, which helps in the installation of the floor troughs. Some people need a little extra help installing and want to make sure that they're installing the trough straight. So the flange below the floor goes on all sides, which helps to stabilize the floor trough and get it ready for the concrete pour and keeps it extra steady while you're pouring your concrete. It's an extra stabilizer, and again, it's on all sides, which is much better than just the little trough clips. So now that we just talked about the three different types of flanges, let's get into what we call a provision for Altro flooring frame. That is a mouthful, and what exactly is it? Well, quite simply, it is a frame. And this is the frame here. It's an extra piece. And what we do is you have your standard 1-inch ledge on all our floor troughs, and your Altro flooring comes up to the ledge. And you see the different holes. Well, those holes are to secure your frame. And what happens is that the Altro flooring is in between the frame and the trough ledge. You put it down and you screw it down tightly. And now your flooring is up to here, held tightly by that frame, so it's not gonna move or go anywhere. Okay, so let's recap all of this. First, this is your standard seepage flange. The seepage flange is available on all floor troughs. Just be aware that when you specify a seepage flange on a shallow floor trough, which is only 2 inches deep, the trough will warp. This is perfectly normal. When you set it in the field, it will straighten itself out. Now, gauge. What gauge is a seepage flange? The gauge of a seepage flange is the same gauge as a trough. So if it's a 14 gauge trough, it's a 14 gauge seepage flange. Many times we make 12 gauge troughs. That seepage flange will then be 12 gauge. The same thing holds true with the seepage flange, clamping ring, and the flange below the floor. It can be used for any trough. No matter what size, shape, we can do it all. And sometimes you want the seepage flange to be a little longer than 5 inches. Not a problem. Same thing with the flange below the floor. Some people want this flange 4 inches, 5 inches. We can make it any size that will make it easier for you to install in the field. And lastly, the Altro flooring frame. This can be used on any floor trough except a TRE and the LFT floor troughs, as those troughs do not have the 1-inch flange that is required for the frame to sit upon. But any other trough, totally doable. Thank you so much for joining us today. I really hope you got a better understanding of the different seepage flanges, flange below floor, and an Altro flooring frame. If you have any questions or need more information, please do not hesitate to contact us right away. We will be more than happy to explain it to you and get the information you need. Thank you so much.